Welcome, fellow adventurers and seekers of lore, to another journey through the annals of the mythical and the magical. Today, I bring you a tale of bravery, betrayal, and the bonds that intertwine the destinies of humans and dragons. Join me, Aidan the Story Weaver, as we unfold the story of Erlin and the dragon. Dawn bathed the Eldor forest with its soft golden hues, unveiling secrets hidden beneath its dense cover. Erlin, a 17-year-old girl with eyes full of curiosity and an indomitable spirit, walked confidently through the forest she knew like the back of her hand. But that day, she wasn't searching for herbs or berries. She was following the call of a recurring dream that showed her an ancient symbol and a nearly forgotten legend. After hours of searching, with the sun high in the sky, Erilyn found the rock marked with the symbol that had invaded her dreams. It was a circle intertwined with what seemed to be wings and flames, a symbol of the union between humans and dragons according to the ancient legends of Eldoria. As she traced the contours of the symbol with her fingers, a soft vibration began to emanate from the inscription. The air tensed, charged with palpable energy, and from the shadow behind the stone emerged a figure Erilyn could have never imagined, a diminutive dragon, its scales shimmering with the colors of the dawn and its eyes displaying ancient wisdom. "Greetings, young Erilyn," the dragon began, its voice resonating in her mind rather than her ears. "My name is Seraphel, and I have waited eons to find you." Erilyn, though initially startled, felt an inexplicable calm envelop her. "Have you been waiting for me? Why?" she asked, her curiosity overcoming her astonishment. "Because, dear child, you are the descendant of the magical line of Eldor, and only you can help restore the balance between our worlds. The dragons of Eldoria are in peril, and with them, this world." Seraphel explained that the dragons had been betrayed by one of their own, transformed into creatures of darkness by Lord Malrex. "He seeks to corrupt what remains of our brethren to conquer the human realms, but there is still hope. With your help, and that of a lost warrior, Theron, we can defeat him." Erilyn listened, absorbing every word. Adventure and danger did not frighten her. If anything, it was justice and peace that she clamored for. "How can we find Theron? And how can I, a mere villager, help in this battle?" "I will guide you to Theron, and together you will travel to the ends of Eldoria to gather allies. And you, Erilyn, are not a mere villager. You possess the gift of communicating with our kind, a power you will fully awaken on your journey." With the little dragon now resting on her shoulder, Erilyn returned to her village to prepare. She knew the road would be perilous and that she might not return. She bid farewell to her family and friends with hugs and promises to take care. Before twilight, Erilyn, with Seraphel by her side, ventured into the forest, not only in search of Theron, but also of her destiny. The young woman who had set out in search of answers now also carried the hope of all Eldoria on her shoulders. As twilight painted the skies of Eldoria red, Erilyn advanced through the hidden paths of the Eldor forest, guided by Seraphel, who seemed to have a precise destination in mind. The young mage was still learning to accept the magical reality of her dragon companion when the sound of combat stopped her in her tracks. Hidden behind a thick tree, she observed a man fighting against a group of shadowy creatures, similar to wolves but with burning eyes and fur as dark as the night. The man, armed only with a sword and a shield emblazoned with a dragon, moved with a skill that spoke of years of training and battles. Once the creatures were defeated, Erlin, prompted by Seraphel, approached the stranger. He, noticing her approach, quickly raised his sword in defense, but lowered it when he saw that the one approaching was a young woman accompanied by a small dragon. "Greetings, traveler. I am Theron, a knight-errant from the northern lands. What brings a young woman like you to these dangerous woods?" he asked with a mix of curiosity and caution. Erlin, without hiding her mission, responded with the truth that Seraphel had revealed. "My name is Erlin, and I've been sent to find Theron the Wanderer. The dragons of Eldoria and the realm itself are in peril, and according to Seraphel, you and I can save them." Theron, listening to the story, looked deeply into Seraphel's eyes, as if searching for the truth in the dragon's gaze. "If what you say is true, then we must act quickly, but we must be cautious. The lands are full of spies from Malrex." He decided to test Erlin's connection with Seraphel through an ancient ritual known only to those well-versed in the lore of dragons. He prepared a magical circle with ancient symbols and asked Erlin to communicate with Seraphel within it. Erlin, guided by her instincts and Seraphel's timid instruction, began to recite words in a language she did not know, but that flowed from her like a river. The birthmark on her wrist began to glow, illuminating the circle. Theron watched, amazed, the irrefutable proof of her connection with the dragons. With the test passed, Theron no longer doubted. "Erlin, it seems we are destined to walk this path together. I too have had dreams, guided by the echoes of dragons, and your appearance confirms my presages. Let us fight together to defeat Malrex and free the dragons from his corruption." Erlin nodded, strengthened by the acceptance and trust of Theron. Together with Seraphel, they began to plan their journey to the heart of Eldoria, where they hoped to gather more allies and confront the dark forces of Malrex. Before setting out at dawn, Theron and Erlin shared stories of their lives, forging not only an alliance but a friendship. With the first rays of light filtering through the trees, they set off, determined and hopeful. The adventure of Erlin and Theron was just beginning, and the challenges they would face were many, but together they had a chance to change the fate of Eldoria. At dawn, Erlin and Theron, accompanied by the little dragon Seraphel, left the shelter of the Eldor forest and headed towards the more dangerous lands of Eldoria. Their goal was clear: to reach the central castle, where the ancient libraries and wise men could help them understand how to defeat Malrex and free the dragons from his corrupt influence. The roads to the castle were treacherous, plagued not only by shadowy creatures sent by Malrex, but also by bandits and other natural dangers. Theron, being an experienced knight, led the way, while Erlin quickly learned the arts of defense and the prudent use of her budding magic. The first major challenge occurred when crossing the Thelian River, whose waters were guarded by a band of trolls led by an enormous orc. Theron proposed a distraction plan, while Erlin and Seraphel would use an invisibility enchantment to cross undetected. While Theron confronted the trolls, distracting them with his skill and courage, Erilyn recited the magical words that Seraphel had taught her. The magic worked, making her nearly invisible to prying eyes. Stealthily, they crossed the river, though not without mishaps, as the magic was new to Erilyn and faltered at moments of doubt. On the other side of the river, Erilyn used a healing spell that Seraphel had indicated to alleviate the wounds of an exhausted but victorious Theron. This act further strengthened the bond between them, consolidating their mutual trust and determination. Continuing their journey, they reached an ancient ruin, described in the tales as the last known refuge of the great dragon Seraphel before his disappearance. Here, Erilyn and Theron discovered murals that narrated the history of the dragons of Eldoria, revealing that Seraphel had been the protector of the realm before falling into a mystical slumber. Among the rubble, they found an ancient artifact, an amulet that, according to Seraphel, was essential for completing their mission. This amulet had the power to reveal the true essence of the dragons and potentially purify those under Malrex's yoke. While exploring the ruin, an unexpected danger arose. A dark dragon sent by Malrex to watch over the ancient refuge attacked, believing they had come to destroy the last vestige of the free dragons. In the battle that followed, Seraphel intervened, revealing his true form, a majestic and luminous golden dragon with scales, though still young and not fully developed. With the help of Seraphel in his full form, they managed to repel the dark dragon who fled, promising vengeance. This event not only showed the true nature of Seraphel, but also fully awakened Erilyn's latent power, her destiny becoming ever more intertwined with that of the dragons. With the amulet in their possession and a new ally in his true form, Erilyn, Theron, and Seraphel continued their journey to the castle. They knew the challenges would be even greater, but also that they were not alone and that the hope of Eldoria rested on their shoulders. The journey was long and filled with hardships, but with each step, Erilyn felt more in tune with the magic of the dragons and more determined to save her world. After several days of travel, facing corrupt creatures and overcoming natural obstacles, Erilyn, Theron, and Seraphel finally saw the high towers of the central castle of Eldoria. It was a bastion of wisdom and power, surrounded by a bustling town that thrived under the protection of its ancestral walls. Upon their arrival, they were received with skepticism and curiosity. A golden dragon had not been seen in the skies of Eldoria in generations, and the presence of Seraphel caused both awe and fear among the citizens. Theron, known among some orders of knights residing within the castle, used his contacts to gain an audience with the Council of Wise, a group of the most erudite and powerful mages and scholars of the realm. He explained the mission he shared with Erilyn and the importance of the amulet they had recovered. The wise, intrigued, and cautious agreed to help, but under one condition. They needed to prove the veracity of their intentions and the power of the amulet. For this, Erilyn would use the amulet to purify a small area of the cursed land that stretched beyond the forest, a remnant of the ancient wars with the dark dragons. Preparing for the ritual, Erilyn practiced with Seraphel, who taught her how to tune the amulet with the energy of the dragons and the land itself. It was a complicated process, requiring concentration and a deep connection with Seraphel. When the time came, in the presence of the wise and under the watchful eye of Theron, Erilyn began the ritual. The amulet glowed with a golden light, and as Erilyn recited the ancient enchantments, a surge of power flowed through her, establishing a link between the dragon, the amulet, and the corrupt land. Gradually, the cursed land began to heal, reviving the vegetation and purifying the air. The wise, now convinced of the authenticity and nobility of their mission, committed to supporting Erilyn and Theron, offering resources, knowledge, and some of their apprentices to accompany them on their journey. With new allies and the support of the Council of Wise, Erilyn and Theron felt more prepared and hopeful. They discussed strategies and gathered information about the location of other dragons that might be under the control of Malrex. Seraphel, now recognized and accepted by the inhabitants of the castle, became a symbol of the renewed alliance between humans and dragons. Together they planned their next move, to free the captured dragons and confront the forces of Malrex in a battle that would decide the fate of Eldoria. Equipped with enchanted weapons and protective amulets, and accompanied by a group of mages and warriors, Erilyn and Theron set out for the eastern lands, where Malrex was believed to have established his fortress. The road promised to be dangerous, but the determination and unity of their hearts gave them strength. With dawn staining the sky with bloody hues, Erilyn, Theron, and their allies gathered in the fields east of the central castle. Armed with enchanted spears and shields imbued with ancient magic, the warriors and mages were ready to face the forces of Malrex. Seraphel, in his imposing form as a golden dragon, flew over the camp, inspiring and elevating everyone's spirit. They soon encountered patrols of dark dragons, noble beasts once, now corrupted by the dark influence of Malrex. The first skirmish was intense and revealing. The dark dragons were formidable, but the strategy and valor of Erilyn and Theron managed to repel them. Each dragon that fell under the influence of the amulet was freed from corruption, thanks to the purification enchantments that Erilyn had perfected. As they advanced, the lands became more barren and desolate, clear signs of Malrex's corrupt influence. Finally, after days of marching and clashes, Malrex's fortress appeared on the horizon, an imposing structure built atop an ancient volcanic crater with towers that scratched the sky and a dark energy palpable even from a distance. Before the final assault, Theron and Erilyn convened a meeting with all the leaders of the Allies. They formulated an attack plan that involved dividing their forces into three: a main distraction at the front, an infiltration group to open the gates from within, and a shock team led by Erilyn and Theron to confront Malrex directly. Seraphel would be crucial to the success of the mission, not only as a combat force, but also to help free the dragons held captive inside the fortress. With everything in place, the battle began at nightfall. The sky lit up with fire and magic as Erilyn's forces clashed against the walls of the fortress. The mages launched siege spells, tearing apart Malrex's arcane defenses, while the warriors, protected by enchantments, brought down the tyrant's dark servants. Theron, Erelyn, and a select group of warriors and mages infiltrated the fortress through a secret passage revealed by the wise. As they advanced through the dark corridors, the air thickened with a malign energy, a harbinger of Malrex's dark power. The walls resonated with the roars of dragons still under the tyrant's yoke, and the group knew that each step brought them closer to the final confrontation. While Theron and the warriors confronted the dark guards, Erelyn focused on freeing the captive dragons. With the amulet in hand, each touch of her golden light dissolved the chains of corruption that bound the noble creatures. One by one, the dragons regained their natural coloration, joining their forces in the fight against Malrex. In the throne room of the fortress, surrounded by dark crystals that absorbed light, stood Malrex. His imposing figure, clad in black armor, was as intimidating as the legend suggested. Erelyn and Theron positioned themselves in front of him, with Seraphel cautiously circling above. "So you have finally arrived, the mage girl and the fallen knight," Malrex roared, his voice a sinister echo that filled the chamber. "Do you think you can challenge the power I have amassed over centuries?" Without waiting for a response, Malrex attacked, launching dark spells that Theron blocked with his enchanted shield, while Erelyn prepared a counterattack. The battle quickly intensified, with Erelyn and Theron working in perfect sync, one defending while the other attacked. As the fight continued, Seraphel found an opening. He swooped down in an arc of light, dodging the bursts of dark magic from Malrex, and with a powerful roar struck directly. Malrex, caught off guard by the dragon's speed and power, was hit squarely, momentarily losing his concentration. Seizing this moment, Erelyn activated the amulet, and an intense light emanated from her, forming a protective shield around her allies and repelling the darkness. Theron took the opportunity to approach, striking with his sword imbued with magical light. Enraged, Malrex concentrated all his energy on a devastating counterattack aimed at Erelyn. In an act of bravery and sacrifice, Seraphel interposed himself, receiving the blow meant for his friend. The golden dragon, gravely injured, fell to the ground with a piteous howl. Erelyn, with tears in her eyes but also with firm determination, recited the final enchantment. The energy of the amulet, combined with her own magic and Seraphel's noble spirit, channeled into a luminous torrent that enveloped Malrex, purifying him of his corruption and disintegrating him into a cloud of scattered shadows. With Malrex defeated, the liberated dragons joined in a triumphant roar that echoed through the fortress and beyond, announcing the liberation from their corruption. Erelyn, though victorious, wept beside Seraphel, whose life was fading in her arms. In his final moments, the dragon assured her that his legacy would continue and that Eldoria would be safe under its new guardian. With the fall of Malrex, the Dark Lands began to heal, and the dragons, once again free, promised their loyalty and protection to the realm. Erelyn and Theron, marked by the battle but hopeful, looked to the future, knowing they had changed the course of history for Eldoria forever. Following Malrex's fall, The lands of Eldoria, once withered and corrupt, began to heal. The crystals of Seraphel, scattered throughout the realm, emitted a purifying light that revived the flora and fauna, eliminating the remnants of corruption. Erilyn, now known as the Guardian of Eldoria, used the amulet of Seraphel to accelerate this process, healing the lands with the same magic she had used to defeat Malrex. The dragons, freed from the darkness that had enslaved them, pledged to protect the realm. Under the guidance of Erilyn and with the memory of Seraphel inspiring them, they formed a new pact with the peoples of Eldoria. They would live as protectors and be honored, not feared. The ancient stories of dragons and humans sharing the world in peace were no longer legends. They were reality. Theron, the wandering knight who had found a purpose in his fight alongside Erilyn, founded a new order of chivalry, the Knights of Seraphel. Dedicated to justice and the protection of all in Eldoria, these knights served as mediators and defenders, ensuring that darkness never again took root in the heart of the realm. The Council of Wise, impressed by Erilyn's wisdom and power, named her the supreme leader of the mages of Eldoria. Together with them, Erilyn worked to teach the magic of the dragons to those worthy of such a gift, ensuring that the realm's magical defense was perpetual. Under her leadership, the central castle became a place of learning and a haven for all who sought knowledge. Erilyn erected a monument at the highest peak of Eldoria, where the crystals of Seraphel had fallen. This place, known as Seraphel's Lookout, became a pilgrimage site for those who wished to pay homage to the golden dragon who had sacrificed his life for the realm. It was a place of magic, peace, and deep reflection, symbolizing Seraphel's eternal vigilance over Eldoria. Over time, Erilyn and Theron watched as Eldoria transformed from a realm ravaged by war to a utopia of peaceful coexistence between humans and dragons. The love and mutual respect among all the realm's creatures flourished, fueled by the justice and peace that the new guardians established. Together they had changed the destiny of a world, not only freeing it from a tyrant but also restoring it to a greater glory than it had ever known. And though the threat of Malrex was now just a somber memory, the vigilance continued, for the price of peace was eternal attentiveness. Erilyn knew that her time as guardian would eventually pass, and she dedicated herself to training the next generation of mages and guardians. Theron, for his part, expanded the order of the Knights of Seraphel, ensuring that bravery and honor continued to protect Eldoria forever. And so, under clear skies and over green lands, the story of Erilyn and the dragon is woven into the annals of time, reminding all that even in the darkest shadows, the light of hope never extinguishes. Thank you for joining me, Aiden the Story Weaver, in recounting this magnificent tale. Until our next adventure, keep weaving stories of your own, and remember, the magic of Eldoria is but a page turn away.